everybody, Average Gamer. Welcome to another beginner's guide. In this episode, satellites, what do they do? So, I've been asked by a few people over the last little while when I've been talking about my satellites in orbit and all that stuff as to what exactly satellites do. It's going to be a long video in any form or fashion. I'm basically just going to go into the basics of what satellites do and how to launch them and how to use them. So, the first thing you need to do to actually launch satellites is... where is it? It's a military facility. Build. I believe it's a launch complex. Nope. Mission control. That'll do it. No. Where are you? I know you're in Russia somewhere. There you are. So what you need, whoop, zoomed in too far, is something like this. You need a mission control, a orbital launch pad, makes sense, and aerospace engineering. Aerospace engineering is what builds your satellites. And that's pretty much it. Now you can build additional things like radar tracking and a few other stuff. I have my radar tracking somewhere else. I can't remember where it is, but I believe you do need radar tracking as well to utilize your satellites. And that's it. So radar tracking, mission control, aerospace engineer, military complex, obviously for them to be connected to, and an orbital launch pad. The more aerospace engineers you have, the more you can, well, build when it comes to satellites. The quicker you can build them. Though you can only build one aerospace engineer per tile, and you cannot build two aerospace engineers together. So if I wanted to build another one here, for example, I can't. That's it. Actually, let's go into the build option here. So you'll need... Let's do this. Build, military. So aerospace engineer, obviously, to build your satellites. I usually like to throw an air base in there, just kind of make it look really more professional. Mission control. Orbital launch pad. Orbital telemetry, that's the other one you need. And I believe that's it. I don't know why I don't have... Oh, it's because I built another one somewhere else. I was in the middle of building one. So, those are the things you need basically to have satellites. Now, to launch satellites, go to your land option over here on the left, and on the very bottom here, it says satellites. Picture of a satellite. You click on that. So, you got three different types of satellites. I think we can even launch one right now. Nope. We got communication satellites, reconnaissance satellites, and missile defense satellites. Now, missile defense satellites basically do a little bit of damage to missiles when they're fired at you. And that's not like air-to-air missile, or air-to-ground missiles. Those are your actual, like, IRBMs. Those are your intermediate ranged ballistic missiles. Cruise missiles, things like that. Missiles that are flying a long distance. So, like, for example, missiles we're going to be using for our western wall over here. They're going to actually be targeted. So IRBMs, ICBMs, things like that. Things that fly high into orbit and fly far, basically. Cruise missiles themselves, they won't because they're low flying. And they just don't. And they fly too fast, basically, or too slow. So you won't be able to target them. Basically, it's anything that flies high and fast is what gets targeted, because they're basically in orbit. And they're close to the satellites, and the satellites will shoot at them. So there's that. And the next one is reconnaissance satellites. Now, reconnaissance satellites give you just that. If a unit is moving, you have a high probability of seeing said unit move. Doesn't mean you're going to see it move. You're just going to see it move. Now, if a unit is standing still for a long enough period of time, you will stop seeing it. Like, for example, I'm unpaused. You'll notice We saw that airplane there because it moved. And we saw this little infantry... See, boom, there we go. We're going to watch like these guys here. They're moving to this military base. They're probably not garrisoning it. They're just moving. So see how we lost that guy for a second when he stopped here? So you're only going to see units when they're moving. And see, those guys start moving again. And you see them. Oh, that's the pause button. So, reconnaissance satellites only give you the ability to see someone if they're moving. And there's a probability. So the higher the reconnaissance value, the higher the probability of you seeing someone. So right now, our reconnaissance is 100% in orbit, though it's never actually 100%. The highest I believe you can get is like 99 point something percent. So you're not going to see every unit in the world when it moves. It just gives you a high probability of seeing a unit when it moves. So even though I see everyone in the States right now moving, they may still have at least another third of their military not moving. Right? And obviously what they have in reserves, we don't know. So that's reconnaissance satellites. Now, communication satellites. When you look at what they do, right? I mean, physically they have no effect in the game. You don't actually see them do anything. It's actually because they have a back end. I actually do some homework on this one. So they actually do a back end buff, so to speak, to your units. Basically what happens is all units automatically start at a certain amount of efficiency, how efficient they are in battle. What this actually does, communication satellites actually increase their battle efficiency. Because what they're doing is they're communicating with the units around them, and they're communicating with you back at the base, because you're telling it, hey, go do this, go do that, whatever. They become more efficient in battle. Did not know that myself, actually. I had to look this up. So that's actually how communication satellites work. Now, the higher the coverage, the better the efficiency, or the more of your units are actually affected. From what I understand is, wherever your orbital launch pad is, so for example, us, it is right here. Oh, no, sorry, our capital. Where's our capital? There's our capital. So wherever your capital is, it actually radiates out. So right now, a military unit on our capital gets an immediate bonus. I can't remember the exact percentage. Buff to its military efficiency. It's not much. It's enough that it does something, right? So if in an equal battle, if we had two pieces of infantry, one to the left and one to the right, the one on the left was ours, and it was close to our capital, it would win. Because it's more efficient in battle. Because it's communicating, it's talking, it's communicating with others. And itself, it's better communicating internally to itself, right? Because every division of unit, every unit you see is actually a division. Obviously, it's made up of all the different regiments underneath it, or units underneath it. So it becomes very, very efficient. And then the further away you are from your capital, the least efficient it is. But to boost that and to buff it, you use communication satellites. So basically, the larger your country, you'll need obviously communication satellites. Now, once you get to a certain point, like I said again, the actual effectiveness, it cannot have 100% coverage. It will say 100% coverage, but it will not be 100% coverage. The max it'll be is 99.9% coverage for communications. I'll say 100, but it's not. So it gives you that little bit of boost. Not, like I said, just a bit of an efficiency tweak to your unit, so they fight just a little bit better. And that's how satellites work, to be honest with you. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to launch one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unpause real quick. We got 30 days to launch a satellite. Basically, what will happen, if we need to launch it, this little button here lights up. You click it. So it'll say if there's a satellite available to launch. We have no reconnaissance satellites to go anywhere. I don't know why I'm clicking these, because I'm not actually saving. If I build, whatever. So what'll happen is, right, this is the progress bar. So this is how you remove satellites from your order. This is how you add satellites to your order. This will tell you how many days it'll take to build it. This will tell you how many you can launch. This tells you how many are in orbit. And this tells you what your coverage is. This launches your satellite. Just a picture of a rocket with a little world on it. That's it. It lights up kind of like how this one's lit up. And then you just click it, and you get a little notification here that a rocket was launched. Now, I haven't received any notifications of any other country launching anything else in orbit, satellites wise or anything like that. So I don't, I don't know if it depends on where their launch occurs, if you actually get to see it or not. So yeah, that's satellites. To be honest with you, it's they seem complicated, but in the end, not really. So missile defense satellites do a small amount of damage over a long period of time to the long range missiles, so your ICBMs, IRBMs, things like that. Recon satellites give your units, or gives you the higher probability of seeing units. Sorry. That are moving, up to a 99.9% chance. If a unit is stationary, you cannot see it. And then communication satellites give your units a effectiveness bonus in battle. So there you go. That is satellites in a nutshell, to be honest with you. But that is it. So thanks for watching. See you next time on the battlefield. Bye-bye.